What's up, you guys? Welcome back and welcome if you're new. In today's video, we did get our hands on the 2024 Tacoma Trd Pro. We are going to be doing a quick walk around on it, and we're also going to give you guys our opinions and thoughts. If you guys are interested, make sure to stay tuned. We'll see you guys. So we're going to go ahead and just talk really quick about the brand new engine in this thing. So as we all know, on the other Tacomas you can get are going to be the gas 2.4 liter turbos with I-Force, and those are going to be 278 horsepower with 317 foot-pounds of torque. Now, as far as the TRD Pro that I have behind me, this one is going to be the one with the 2.4 liter, but the difference is this one does have the I-Force Max. So on this bad boy here, you do get a whopping 326 horsepower, and you're also going to get 465 foot-pounds of torque. So if you ask me, that's pretty quick for a little mid-sized Tacoma. As you guys do know, our old generations were pretty slow. So this thing is actually pretty quick, and you can hear the turbo spool up once you push it. So now that we talked about what's in the engine bay, now the next thing up, of course, if you do want something quick for off-road or say for desert running, you are going to want some good suspension. So what Toyota did on this one is, of course, this is the TRD Pro, keep that in mind. This is going to be the TRD Fox Tune shocks, so it's going to feel super comfy. That I've tried out, and trust me, it feels pretty good for being factory. And then another thing that I did notice up front is it does have a billet upper control arms, and also something else is the spindles on these bad boys are a lot thicker. If you guys do remember, like on the third gen, second gens, those tend to actually bow out. That's why a lot of us end up doing the spindle gussets. But on these bad boys, they look like they're gonna handle a lot of beating. And then of course in the rear, it is linked now. Unlike before, they used to be with just a leaf sprung. So this is actually gonna have a lot of potential in my mind, at least from what I've seen from rock crawlers and stuff like that end up linking their truck. So that's pretty cool. I like that overall. And then of course it is red, so it stands out very well. It's also gonna have, of course, these black TRD rims, which are now 18-inch, which I'm not too fond of, I'm not gonna lie. I prefer the smaller rim with the bigger tire, because we all know when we do go off-road and you wanna air down, the more meat is always better, but they still look really good on this truck overall. Keep that in mind, especially with this gray color that they have. I can't remember the exact name. If it was me and I ended up buying one, I would probably go with this color just to kind of keep the theme going of my third gen. It just looks good overall. Let's go ahead and just hop right inside and show you guys something that you're probably interested in, which is the seats. Let's do it. All right, you guys, so the next thing that I did want to talk about is going to be on the TRD Pro. Everybody does know they do have the brand new ISO Performance front seats. What actually broke the internet when these came out was this bad boy right here, which is going to be like a suspension. So when you guys are off-road or anything like that, this will actually take some of the hit, so you won't feel it as much when you're sitting in the driver's seat, or of course for your passenger princess. So it's going to be really nice, and it just looks good overall. And if you do come right up front over here, you'll see. Now the front of the seats here, they're gonna have like this camel design, it looks like, or some type of design, which in my mind, this looks pretty cool. And then of course it's gonna say TRD. Back then it used to have the stitching up here of TRD, but I didn't really like that, and I don't know if other people did. This just gives it a unique look, and they do have kind of like race seats, so it does bolster up right here, so that way you can kind of be really tucked in. I'm kind of skinny for these, so it still kind of tosses me around, but for you bigger folks out there, this will really tuck you up. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a little bit more of the interior up front. So they did change a couple things. It does look completely different than the third gens. Starting off with the door right here, as you guys can see on the TRD Pro, you got the badging there, you got some red stitching going on, and then you got some really tactical looking cupboards here, which down there is going to be for your drinks. Right here could be for like your phone or whatever you want to put in here. And it just looks good overall. It looks nice and rugged. And then now this thing does have some JBL speakers, which we'll get back to that in a minute. But if you come right over here, another difference is going to be this whole center here. This is completely different than the second gens and the third gens. Now you have a pocket here, so you can go ahead and put whatever you want to stick right there, some papers, whatever, it doesn't matter. Overall, it just looks super rugged, like I said. I mean, the lines, the curves, and everything like that. It's just, it looks really good. You get some carbon fiber plates all the way around with this nice accent Toyota. I'm not too fond of this, but it is what it is. You do get this big screen now versus the previous ones. They were pretty small. So now with this one, whenever you are on the GPS or you want to listen to music or anything like that, it's just going to be right there for you blind people like me. And then of course right here you are going to have your dual climate control. I know this was already a feature in the previous versions, but it's just cool that they continued that and they just made it look a lot nicer. This just looks super upgraded compared to the last ones. And if I'm being quite honest, the way this design is right here, that also gives it that rugged feel. I believe there's an aftermarket company for the 3rd gens that makes a similar design to this, but it's not exact. So that's pretty cool that this is already thrown in. You won't even have to mess with it or anything like that. They also continued the nice TRD Pro shift knob here. As you guys do know, us 3rd gen owners, we ended up swapping over to them to give it that cool look. But this one, since it is the TRD Pro, comes with it, and it just looks really nice overall. It's nice and beefy, so you can feel like a true man. The next thing too is you're gonna notice it does already come with a TRD red button here. Some of us have already switched those out on the older gens to kind of give it this look. So it's cool that they have that. And then of course, if you look at the steering wheel, that's also gonna be completely different. So I'm super stoked on this model. Just everything overall looks really good. I like the design of it. And then let's go ahead and turn this bad boy on and show you guys some more features right here in the front. Let's move on to the next thing. So like we were talking about the speakers, so now you get a couple more speakers on here, and it is a JBL brand. One thing to take note on that broke the internet as well with it was this cool thing right here. You push down, it releases just like that. And now if you're like at the beach or anywhere like that, you can go ahead and have your portable boombox. You never need to buy one again because you got this bad boy here. And it actually sounds pretty nice. So we'll put that back in there. Next thing I want to show you guys is the camera setup. So this is actually pretty cool, and it does have different functions on this truck as far as off-road or on-road, doesn't matter. So right now we are in 2-wheel drive, and I'm going to show you guys some of the features. So we're going to just scroll through the modes. So we got sport mode, we got normal, and then we got eco mode as well. So if you want to save some gas, which if you buy this truck for saving gas, you're just kidding, I won't say that. We're going to go into 4-wheel drive. This will work if you're in 4 high or 4 low, doesn't matter. Now that we're in 4 high, which we'll leave it in that position, we're gonna go ahead and go to MTS, which I'll show you guys the button right now. So MTS. So now we're in like mud terrain select is what it means. And now we can kind of scroll through the features. So as you can see, you got auto there, and then you got dirt, you got sand, you got mud, and you got deep snow. So the truck is actually gonna help you think a little bit, so that way in the terrain that you're in, this will help control it. So it's pretty cool that they offer that stuff. Next thing we're gonna show you guys when you are off-road, keep in mind we're still gonna be in 4-wheel drive for this feature. We're gonna actually turn on the cameras. Okay, so now that we turn on the camera view, there's a bunch of features on this thing, but I'm gonna go over it really quick. So you got a side view here, you got the front there, and you got the other side. Another thing to take note on is, as you can see, you got the angle and departure angles here. So that way you can kind of see the degrees as far as if you're going to flip over or not, which is pretty awesome. And let's hope you don't flip. So then you can also select any of the other cameras that you want to be on the main screen. There's also another feature if you click here, and it changes the view of the cameras as well. So once again, you got the 360 view right here. So now you can kind of just look everywhere, which I like this one because it actually gives you a correct look around how it actually looks in real life. That's just my opinion. The other cameras still are pretty awesome, as you guys can see. Just the 360 view allows a lot more. I really like these two features here. So this one here, if you guys are of course backing out off-road, like say out of a trail or something, if you hit that button, you'll be able to see the rear, but the sides of the truck. Now, if you guys are going forward and you guys are rock crawling or anything like that, you hit the forward one, and now you can see where your tire placement is going to be. So you never really, I mean, I'm not gonna say you don't need a spotter, but now this will help you out just in case you're alone one day. Once again, you still have this other view here. So that's what that is. So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. This truck is also gonna have a sway bar disconnect, which is gonna be right there. I really like that feature because, as you guys all know, on the 3rd gens, all of us mostly took off the front sway bar, so now we ride without it, and now we get those crazy leans when we're on road. So now having this feature is going to be awesome because, of course, when you're on road, you can leave it on. When you go off-road and you need those extra little inches, go ahead and put that. Another cool feature that this truck has, which is going to be, I believe, in the TRD Off-Road and TRD Pro, and I think in the Trail Hunter, you'll have that rear locker. So as we all know, that does come in handy for us, and it helps us out a lot. That's why all of us usually get the TRD Off-Road model versus the Sport, So that's a cool feature there. The next thing that I did notice inside is you are of course going to get a TRD light bar with this TRD Pro. I'll show it to you guys right now, but that's pretty awesome that they have that. And then you're also going to get a couple auxiliary switches. As we all know, this is super handy because like with the old ones, you have to of course wire everything in, and sometimes it's a pain in the butt. So just having this already from the factory is going to be a huge help to everybody, especially if you're not good at wiring. This is going to help you out. Of course, anytime it does come to wiring, I'd highly recommend you hit someone up that does know about it. But even if you want to attempt it, at least you know it's there. And then you do have a couple other little options here. Another cool feature, this TRD Pro, it does have some factory rock sliders. So that's going to be awesome whenever you do get this truck. I wanted to talk a little bit about some other things. So as you guys just saw, it does have some rock sliders from the factory. And like I had said, the cool thing about that is you could literally buy this truck and just go from the dealer to the trail with no problem. This thing's going to be set up just like that. And now that we're in the back, as you guys can tell, the back is also redesigned. You get new taillights, new everything. One thing to take note on is you are going to get this ARB rear bumper. As you guys all know, on the previous Tacomas, those things always get ripped out when you're off on the trail. It ends up getting hung up, and then it sucks, especially if you have sensors, like at least in my Tacoma did, and it ripped out all the sensors, ripped out all the wires, which is not a good sign because, of course, that's a really expensive thing to fix. So that's why I ended up just getting a high clearance bumper. So this thing coming from the factory, it being ARB, this is going to be awesome. And you also get some recovery points in case for some weird reason you do get stuck. You got those bad boys there. Someone could pull you out and you can keep going and enjoy the trail. Another cool feature on this Tacoma is on the taillights, both this side and that side, there is a button that you can push. And then this thing is actually going to come down just like that. So just with that button there, tailgate comes down. No more having to worry about carrying a heavy tailgate or anything like that, which they're not too heavy, but it still sucks, especially if you're like carrying groceries or something like that. Now you just kind of hit it with your elbow or however you can, pop that button, comes right down, throw your stuff in, keep going back home to the mall, wherever you want. But this thing is awesome. So now if you see right here, the cool thing on this new truck is you are going to get an AC port, 120 volts, as you guys can see there. So now you can charge anything you want. And then if you do look right there, it's going to have some bed lights. Now let's hop on over to the other side over here. You're going to notice there is like a little port right here. So when you open this bad boy up, you actually have some room for stuff there, but you're also going to get a USB charging, 12 volt source, and a couple other little things there. You're going to have another light there, which is really awesome. And of course, they've now covered this because no one really uses those storage panels. Just in case you do though, they still offer it on this side. So you'll see it there. It looks exactly like the previous version, so it's probably exactly the same size. As far as the bed, it does look like this thing's slightly taller. I may be wrong. Like I said, don't quote me on any of this. This is just going to be my own personal review. I'm not paid by Toyota to say any of this. It's literally just my own thoughts and opinions. Okay, Mom. So, ¿qué piensas de la nueva TRD Pro?
Está bonita, me gusta y todo, pero la única razón, la única cosa es que está como muy reducido los espacios de aquí de adentro. Pero está bien.
Yeah.
Tiene lo que otras no tienen. Está bien.
It's actually a really nice truck, you guys. Like, no lie, I would consider buying this thing. Only downside that we've seen so far is, like she said, is the space. I think that has to do with the TRD Pro though, how it does have the suspension on the seats in the back. So that does kind of reduce the space. But other than that, it's an amazing truck. We've been testing it out. We've been having fun with it. I'd definitely buy one. You should check them out. All right, you guys, so now that we finished up today's quick review on this truck, once again, today's video is not sponsored by any means or anything like that by Toyota, but I just got my hands on the TRD Pro, so I wanted to give you guys a quick look at it, quick review, and my thoughts. It's not in-depth, so in the future, if I ever do get my hands on one of these again, I'll go ahead and take it out off-road. I'll do a bunch of things with it, just so that way I can give you guys a full in-depth review. But as far as right now, just kind of from what I've driven it and just tested it and played with it, I do like it. I'd probably actually trade my 3rd gen in, I'm not gonna lie. This thing is actually pretty awesome. Don't hate on it until you actually see it in person. Don't hate on it until you actually drive it. Don't hate on it until you actually take it out off-road. It's a cool machine. It's completely different than our 3rd gens, I'll tell you guys that right now. Especially the power alone with that iForce Max that they put in these things. It's a pretty cool hybrid system. I like it, and it looks to be a little bit better gas mileage as well. Once again, anybody that buys these trucks, you shouldn't buy it for the gas mileage because it's a truck. Don't think about that. If you guys did enjoy this today, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you. Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.